When we turn 18, we get the name of our soulmate. I should have never looked for mine. Growing up in our city, I thought everyone lived like us. Mandatory blood tests every Tuesday, no pets allowed anywhere, and curfew at 2 a.m. sharp. But the most important rule was simple. On your 18th birthday, you get a slip of paper with one name on it, your soulmate. The matchmakers never made mistakes. There had never been a single divorce in our city's history, and my parents got their slips 20 years ago and matched perfectly. My sister Emma got hers last year and found her match within 3 months. Yesterday was my 18th birthday, and I woke up to Emma laughing in the kitchen. She'd driven 3 hours just to be here. Ready to meet your future wife? She teased, ruffling my hair. The white envelope sat on our kitchen table like it had been waiting for me my entire life. Inside were 2 pieces of paper. The first was my new set of rules that they don't tell you about until you're 18. Rule 47 said citizens over 18 are prohibited from entering any body of water within city limits. Rule 48 said we must avoid all reflective surfaces on the 13th of each month. Rule 50 said we cannot share these rules with minors under any circumstances. The second paper had just one word written in elegant script. Riley. Riley, I said out loud, testing how it sounded, and my family gathered around smiling like this was the best day of their lives. At school, my friends bombarded me with questions about my slip. There were 2 Rileys in our grade, and my friend Marcus kept saying how lucky I was. It doesn't work like that, I reminded him. It could be any Riley, maybe someone I haven't even met yet. After school, Marcus suggested we hang out by the river to celebrate, but I remembered Rule 47 and made an excuse about helping with dinner. I couldn't tell him about the rules because that was Rule 50. That evening, our doorbell rang during dinner, and Mom came back looking pale. "There's someone here to see you, honey," says their name is Riley. My heart nearly stopped because it was happening. I practically ran to the front door. Standing on our porch was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. Shoulder-length auburn hair, bright green eyes, wearing a simple blue dress. "Hi," they said, their voice soft and musical. "I'm Riley. I think we need to talk." We walked to the park near my house, and Riley was quiet the whole way with their hands shaking slightly. "I need to tell you something," Riley whispered, looking around nervously. "Something about why we were matched. The matchmakers aren't what you think they are," Riley continued. "They don't match people for love. They match people for harvest." Riley pulled up their sleeve, revealing dozens of small puncture marks along their arm. "The blood tests aren't for our health. They're checking our compatibility." I stared at the marks, my stomach churning. "That's impossible. My parents have been married for 20 years, and they're happy." "Are they?" Riley asked. "When was the last time you saw them show real emotion? When was the last time anyone in this city showed real emotion?" I opened my mouth to argue, but the words died in my throat because Riley was right. Everyone in our city was pleasant and content, but never truly happy or sad or angry. We were all just existing. "The rules aren't to protect us," I whispered. "They're to control us." Riley nodded grimly. "The water rule is because that's how they transport people who ask too many questions, and the reflection rule is because on the 13th they harvest blood from matched pairs. If you looked in a mirror, you'd see how pale and weak you really are." "But why are you telling me this? If we're matched?" "Because I escaped," Riley said. 3 months ago, I was supposed to meet my match, but instead I ran. I've been hiding ever since, trying to warn people. My head was spinning. "Then who am I really matched with?" Riley's green eyes filled with tears. "That's the thing. There is no real Riley on your slip. They wrote my name to lure me out of hiding because they knew I'd come to warn you." Behind us, I heard footsteps, multiple sets, moving in perfect synchronization, and Riley whispered, "They found us." I turned to see 5 figures in white coats approaching with blank, emotionless faces. The matchmakers. "Riley Chen," one of them said in a voice that sounded like static. "You have violated Protocol 7. Run!" Riley grabbed my hand. "Don't let them take you back." We sprinted toward the edge of the park, but more white coats emerged from the trees, moving wrong, too fluid, like they weren't quite human. "The water," Riley gasped. "It's the only way out." "But the rules are lies." We reached the riverbank with the matchmakers getting closer, their static voices growing louder. "Together," Riley said, squeezing my hand, and we jumped. The water was ice cold, and instead of the refreshing swim I remembered from childhood, something was different. The current grabbed us immediately, pulling us down into an underground tunnel system I never knew existed. Phosphorescent algae lined the walls, casting everything in an eerie green glow. When we finally surfaced, we were outside the city limits for the first time in my life. "Welcome to the real world," Riley said, helping me out of the water, "where soulmates find each other by choice, not by design." I looked back at the city I'd called home for 18 years, and from the outside I could see the truth. The buildings were too perfect, too uniform, and the people moving through the streets looked like dolls being positioned by invisible hands. But then Riley started laughing, and it wasn't the musical laugh from before. It was cold and mechanical. "You really thought you escaped?" Riley's voice was changing, becoming that same static as the matchmakers. "You really thought I was trying to help you?" I watched in horror as Riley's beautiful features began to shift and blur. The real Riley Chen died 3 months ago when she tried to escape. I've been wearing her face ever since, waiting for the perfect bait. Riley's skin started peeling away like a mask, revealing the same blank, emotionless face as the matchmakers underneath. "Welcome to your real harvest," the thing that had been Riley said, as more white coats emerged from the water behind us. "Thanks for leading us right to you."